Hello, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. In a time when we've been struggling for a while as a group of people in this nation, I would assume you know that we've been having a economically tough time. One of the things that has crossed my mind is the disparity that we have with people needing homes. It's kind of unusual in that this is a land of opportunity. So quite often we take for granted so many things that are available to us, but then there are other people that can't get the same things. So what I wanted to talk about is housing. And one of the things that's amusing to me is there are a lot of people right now that are very happy, and I'm happy for them because they are living in vans, even cars, very well thought out, custom made box vans, and so on and so on, live in a motorhome. But there are a lot of people that would also be happy to have a modest home. And I think young people in particular think that it's not really possible for them to have a home. And I think that's sad because most young people need to have the optimism that they can have a home, and that, and of course that brings on, hey, because I can have a home, I can also have children, and that's part of your fulfillment as a sentient being. You have children together and create something that goes on long after you're gone. But anyway, to have a home would be something nice to have, period, even if you're living by yourself. And I think the median home price now, median being the word, is like almost $400,000. Maybe it is 400. So that would mean that you would have to make quite a lot of money just to be able to afford a home in the median value. Does that seem reasonable? Well, that is because most people are thinking of the median home price as these newer homes in nicer areas. I suggest that there are a lot of homes, and we need to be aware of them. There are a lot of homes that need work, and they're way far, far less expensive. Now, I know that people are like, oh, well, you're talking about getting $50,000 off of a $400,000 home. I was like, no, quite a bit more. Now, there are some sacrifices that come with that, but isn't that really what we're all doing? We're sacrificing our time and working hard to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. Isn't that really what we're trying to do? So I'm going to suggest that we look into other things. So as you get older, you have a 3-bedroom home, maybe even a bigger home, and now the children are gone. Do you need that large of a home? Probably not. So you could get rid of that home and go find something else. But again, is it something you could afford? I would suggest yes. And as a young person just starting out, where would you find a home that is affordable and you could still work with less skill level and therefore less money and actually accomplish having that home? Well, I have been for a long time aware of how people think of homes that are outside of a popular area. And that would be like, I would suggest, like in this area, we have been in the top 15 in the United States, fastest growing top 15 for 30 years. It's kind of hard to find an inexpensive home here. Very, very difficult, actually. So you have to drive outside in this area. You would have to drive probably 30 miles to find an affordable home. Now, what am I talking about as affordable? I'm saying 80,000, 70,000, but those homes need work. They have required work for a long time and they didn't get it. Let's see. If I go into my phone without any setup, I'm going into Facebook and Facebook Marketplace, and I say I want homes for sale under 60,000. Let's say. Let's see what happens. There's a mobile home in Fayetteville for 15,000. Probably has to be moved. Let's see. Yep, it's got to be moved. That's not what we're talking about. Another one in Decatur, in Berryville. There's a house. It's got rock sides. Let's see what it says. I'm selling my house. It's right up by the school, the eye clinic, and the Harder house. I'm willing to do best offer as well. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, with basement and attic. DM me for more pictures. $60,000. So it's close to the schools. It's not falling down. Let's see what else we got here. Probably have to drop off from a few miles from this area, like into Oklahoma or over into Huntsville and that kind of thing. There's one. Stotts City, I think that is somewhere close. It's past Monette. It's about 45 minutes, maybe even less, 30 minutes to Joplin, and maybe 30, 45 minutes to Springfield. Yeah, you can get onto the freeway real quick. But this is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house for $20,000. Fixer upper, decent sized lot, comes with house and barn. Property house has water and electric. It's on city water. Everything is pretty much gutted. So somebody started on it with optimism and they've given up. Or maybe they broke up. That was the end of it. $20,000. I think people pay more for cars now and pay them off in 5 years. There's many, many more. You kind of have to go, like in Oklahoma, I see it all the time, 20, 30,000. One of the ones that surprises me is how people feel about mobile homes. And I've been seeing also a lot of people moving into what they call little houses. So like portable buildings that are larger. So with that, a lot of people have learned to live with less and still have something that they can own. And I think they even carry financing on a lot of those houses for like $30,000. I think a new single wide mobile home somewhere between $60,000 and $70,000. But you got to have a place to put it on. So you're going to be making payments on that home plus the lot that it's parked on or the land. I always told my boys that what you would want to do is look for a dilapidated mobile home that has all those utilities there, and either you fix that mobile home, or you can bring in a new one because it already has all the utilities there, the septic, the water, the electric, all there. You just got to move that one out or tear it down and have it hauled off. So now you have an inexpensive home. Now there's one that I talked to today. He called me and said, do you know anybody who wants to buy my home? It's a $3,000 single wide mobile home because a tree fell in the center of it. It did some damage to the roof, but it can easily be fixed. This is a metal roof, not a typical mobile home roof. And even if it was a mobile home roof, I could fix it. Promise you can fix it. It can be fixed. There's videos on how to do it. So this house for $3,000 or less could be bought and then put into a piece of land or a lot if somebody's got one that you could rent. So now all of a sudden you have a home. You have to fix it up, but you have a home. Isn't that something that we would all strive to have as a young person instead of always putting our money into somebody else's hands as rent? That's what I would like people to start looking to. Look at other ways to be happy. Because happiness is not really a destination. It's the trip itself. That's the traveling that's happiness. It's not an arrival somewhere. You learn to be happy with what you have and the happiness that you get from making things better. So I would like to see the disparity, the unhappiness that people have because they think there's not a way for them to have a home, to change and to look at other ways to become a homeowner. So, even if it's living in a van or a schoolie, which is a school bus turned into a home, or even minivans, and I've seen people live in cars on purpose. Those are all choices that they have made to simplify their lives so that they can see the world and not have to be under pressure. But they also don't have to have that $400,000 house payment, taxes and insurance and all those things. You see what I'm saying? So you could live in these homes. Quite often they're 30, 40 miles out of the area, maybe even an hour, let's say, from the area where there's a lot of work in a larger town. So that would mean you'd have to drive more. What does that actually cost? So consider all those as mathematical equations. You're driving further, but you're saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in price because now you're driving that far to get that much less expensive home that might need some work to bring it up to a level where you can be happier You still have plenty of happiness, but happier. So if you have a desire to have your own home instead of renting, start looking, start saving, doing without that $8 Starbucks coffee. One of the things that happened to me is that I started doing the carnivore diet. So I realized after I just drink water and eat meat, that there's so many things that we purchase just because, well, I think I deserve it. I don't really need it, but I need to treat myself because I had a tough day and I worked hard for this. So you get a candy bar or things like that. All that is part of your purchase of another piece of property. You're changing from being a renter to looking around to find a way to be an owner if you hold on to that money instead of spending it and spoiling yourself. So you literally have to do without, and you literally have to be able to drive further than everybody as a rule. Now, there's always people who do far worse than we do. And when you start complaining about not having shoes, there's somebody who don't have any feet. Consider that if you live further out, you don't have to deal with all the violence and everything that you do inside town, where everybody's on top of everybody, and your children get to be living in a rural area where it's much more generally much more peaceful. So consider when you're worried and concerned about not being able to find a home, consider those alternatives that we're talking about. I've seen mobile homes that look like mansions on the inside, and I would like you guys to believe in yourselves that you can make a tiny home or a mobile home or an older home that needs work into those beautiful things. It just takes one step at a time. Just as if you grew from a child into the adult that you are, it didn't just pop up and all of a sudden you were an adult. You had to grow into it. You had to learn all the things that you do as an adult. And you do have to learn those things also on how to fix your home and how not to smash your finger, where not to go, and who not to trust for buying materials, where the best place is to get used materials instead of new. So many adventures along the way that could contribute toward our being happier with who we are and where we're headed. I truly want to leave with all of you the idea that you can't have a home needs to be let go and start looking around for the possibility of getting a home. That's what I would like to see. I don't want you to be discouraged. I want you to believe in yourselves and to lean on your ability to learn. And the hardest part of success is getting started. So that is something I wanted to say this particular time. I know I haven't spent a whole lot of time at it, but I've been doing home repairs in this area 31 years, but I actually did it in other places. So it may seem as though I have far more opportunity to do these things, but you can learn everything that I've learned and do better at it. You could be exceptional at the same things that I am. So what I have done in the last 4 to 5 years, I guess 5 years, is with my wife's help, is put out videos on how I did these things. Not because we're making a bunch of money, because we're not. I think it's like $400 now for a month, and she works 6-7 hours a day, sometimes more. Okay. She's been very devoted at making something that will be there even after I'm gone. And so it's sort of, giving back, being a part of a community, helping other people. So I think that these videos will possibly be there long after I'm gone. It'll be like my ghost is still showing people how I learned to do things, and therefore we could all be a part. Wouldn't it be great if we all just sort of work together? It doesn't happen often. But wouldn't it be great if we could all just use a platform like this to share with each other all the things that we've learned and save all the grief of having to learn all the things you shouldn't do? So that's what I would like to convey with all that effort that my wife has put in. And I try to make it up to her by being kind to her. And
I don't have to go out and work, so
you
I
know,
don't have to play well with others. I get to play at home by myself.
She used to be going out there and bumping it around with nurses and dealing with the public and a lot more than what she is now. She actually gets to be a mother all the time, but with messing around with chickens, and she has a little chicken business that keeps getting bigger, sort of like potato chips. You can't just have one. So, what she and I together have done is put a whole bunch of experience inside of 5 years. I think 1,300 videos, getting probably closer to 1,400 videos.
A lot.
On how to do things. And it's not just working on mobile homes or just houses. There's actually working on cars, whatever I've had time to, or the wherewithal to video and show you guys what I've learned. I share it.
Building chicken coops.
Building chicken coops from fencing materials, that people threw away. Not because I couldn't afford to buy. I'm just saying, why not share with people how we can do it without all that terrible expense to do that. So that's really what I'm trying to do, is to share with people what I've learned. And, one of the things that I've gave myself more energy in doing the work that I do, instead of it being about money, I told myself quite a while back that it's better to consider that my work is to make other people's lives better. That's why I'm working, to make other people's lives better. So here we are with all these videos that are on YouTube in the last 5 years, and who knows what could have been. There's so many other adventures I had before I ever got started here. Even in 31 years that I've been here, there's been a massive amount of adventures that surely would have been neat to have been recorded, and I'm sure that's down through time. But I would like to share those things with you guys, and I'm sure you guys could teach me so much more about other things that I don't even haven't had the chance to experience. So all I'm doing is trying to convey to you that you can step up and make your life better, and that somebody like me can share with you on how to do that. And that's really what I'm doing. And even after I'm gone, there's a video of me saying it. Isn't that neat? So if you do it from that point of view and that kind of motive, seems to me that you're making the world a better place, even if it's got other people that are doing the opposite. It's going to be better if we help one another. So that's what I would like to do, is share with you guys what I've learned. And of course, as you guys can jump in and ask questions, and I'd be happy to share anything that I might have to offer for those questions. So in the future, when we come back here and do these live streams, that's going to be the goal, is to answer questions and provide information from my experience. So I'm going to leave you with this thought that we should all be looking forward to finding ways to make each other's lives better. Each and every one of us should be looking to seeing what we can do to affect other people in a positive fashion. That's not just saying hello. It's thinking about, that it's a little bit more than handing money to the guy that's asking for money on the corner. So you would want to get more involved in getting to know why that person needs that help, and then seeing what you could do. You may not be able to do much, but at least you would get to know that person. It's easier for yourself and your own completion as a human being to try to help other people. So I would encourage you to consider that. That's what I hope to do in the future, is to continue to help other people, to be a part of your life if you wish. And if you need the little bit of encouragement or the experience that I've learned, so I could share with you those things that I've experienced, I'd be happy to do it. And it actually means that, my life has some meaning besides just work. Isn't that neat? I think we should all can start thinking about ways to encourage one another with the smallest of glances or even comments to one another. What are we gaining by being critical of each other in the comments or any other way? And I can tell you this, I have never been on anybody else's video and left a bad comment, because I understand the effort that they went to make that video. Even if it's a bad video, it just means I don't want to watch it again. And I don't want to spend my time with somebody who continually makes a bad video. But I'm not going to go and disparage their work. They worked hard at it. That's what I'm talking about. Hopefully I'm not being too syrupy. But anyway, don't be discouraged about homes. There are a lot of homes out there. You just got to go out there and look and then work hard for it. I promise you're going to end up with more equity in that home if you go out and take these homes that need to be worked on, that are further out. Is that something that seems unreasonable? Well, maybe it is to you, but it's not to me. So I hope I'm leaving you with a good feeling, and I wish you all the best. I have no animosity toward anybody, and sort of like Will Rogers, I've never met a man I didn't like. Well, there's always something positive to find about every person. So I wish you all the best, and I'll see you another time.